Hello everyone and welcome. We're back for our Orktober. I was really hoping to get all three characters, the Goth Rocker and Makari and Gazgul ready for at least by the end of October. But as you can see, we're painting Makari. Why am I only doing him and I'm calling quits is because October is over, and thanks to a few gifts from grandfather Nurgle, I was out a large chunk of time in October. Fortunately, Gork, or possibly Mork, gave me the strength to finish this little guy and to fully record the voiceovers because that was what was keeping me from completing the video. Now, as you can tell by my voice, I'm still not fully recovered and I'm still having some major problem with my sinuses. But I will try to power on through and get these voiceovers done. Uh, this little guy was spray painted, his skin was spray painted at the same time with the Goth Rocker. And well, I was done. As you can clearly see in slow motion, my epic fail when trying to assemble this little guy. But to make the best out of a bad situation, I decided to leave the banner broken and get to work on the little guy and get as much done as possible without getting into um, without the banner getting in the way. And I start off by doing a little dry brush over the applied um, Militarum green with the airbrush. I do a little dry brush with War Boss green to highlight all the elements and to better see them, and to try and give a little bit of highlight to the base tone of the skin. As you saw, I brought out my makeshift dry brush palette. I still have a lot more to do on it, but I like it. I'm starting to get the hang of it, and my dry brushing is getting better and better. I'm proud to say. Well, the Ender Learn series has come to an end with my finishing of uh, the first one I did was Wrath of Chardalon. I'm still learning each and every time I paint a miniature, so yeah, there's that. But don't worry, I will try to make a few more series with Ender Learns to do specific tasks, specific get better at dry brushing, and I'm going to try and do some um, task specific on each miniature. But in order for me to get to that point, I have to really finish all of my back catalog because I'm sick and tired of seeing unpainted plastic in my work area because I designed especially so it stands in my eyes and I get to actually do them, which I don't a lot of the time. I just ignore them. So that needs to change because I really plan to get all the miniatures painted. And I have a plan for that. I'm gonna start by absolutely ignoring some of them. As in, while Gazgul has been started, primed, and dry brushed, I'm going to call it quits for now with Gazgul, especially since it's an incredibly complicated model. I'm just gonna leave him to the side for a few months, probably, and up to a year. And in theory, I plan on doing him for next October. But this little guy is here right now, and I'm doing another few feathering light touches, hopefully adding some midtones. I'm gonna be honest here. I did see a shift in tone while the paint was wet, but after that, even though I added a consistent layer of Warboss green all across his shoulders, the highest parts of his shoulders, I swear I do not see a color shift in between any of the nuances of the green. You can call me a nuanced blind if you like. In that point, I can see it where the light shines on the miniature and it gives out those highlights, the specific. But that's by the light. I swear I don't see different shades of green unless they're really, really different. But when I apply it one over the other, I honestly don't see it. Next, I used a bit of black to paint the helmet of the Astra Militarum Scion, I'm guessing, that he's standing on. Um, and yeah, if that is true scale to Astra Militarum, I'm thinking I'm not gonna have any problem. Painting Gaunt's ghosts. Uh, they're still right there, primed, and I can't wait to get started on them. And I'm thinking this might be one of the next projects. But first, like I said, I want to get rid of everything that I started to paint. So next up on the list is finally finishing the rest of the Tau Force that I have, and namely the XV-88 broadsword. That one has got to be a priority. I need to finish that one. It's massive, it's relatively easy to paint, so I'm gonna focus on getting that one done. Alright, back to what I'm saying, because I keep talking in these videos about everything that I plan to do, not what I'm doing. But as you can see, this process is rather time consuming because it's been several minutes. And painting all of the black, the cloth on his waist, I also did black. He's a goth, just like he planned to Gaskell. I love the Midwinter Minis purple take on him, but I'm gonna go with the classic goth, and I'm also gonna finally try some checkers on him. I skipped that on the goth rocker. Because the Goths are definitely the toughest orcs, and we all know that Gaskell is the toughest. What else? What else? What else? Yeah. I noticed that even though I really thinned down this Abaddon and gave it a really, really thin coat, it covered real well, especially because of the dark nature of the Militarum green that was sprayed with the airbrush while giving the skin base coat. So yeah, I'm probably gonna keep doing that from now on, and especially since I have the airbrush, I'm going to try and give a base coat of whatever color will be primarily on the model after the primer, and then I will come back with Abaddon Black to cover all the black parts. So yeah. Next up, I use a bit of off-white, in this case Wraithbone, to put a few dots of white all over the parts that I want them to be later lenses or gems or anything like that. And of course, I think no, I don't do the horns. The horns I wanted to keep metallic because he can't kill anything that big. He's just a small little Gretchin with his stabber. Yeah. All right, cool. What can I tell you? While I've been painting this guy, I've been meaning to re-listen to the Prophet of the Wog audiobook, but that um, had totally slipped my mind while I was painting him, and besides, I was still feeling the effects of the grandfather's gift, and I wasn't really up to it, and I totally slipped my. But again, it's a great book, and I laughed so hard at it. I highly recommend it. For all the leather bits, like his shoes, I used snakebite leather. I didn't use Gorgrunta fur. I used snakebite leather. I did use Gorgrunta fur on his cap, on his hat thingy, helmet, whatever you want to call it. to do the fur on that one, with of course everything else being metal. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I also used snakebite leather, as you saw there, on his tiny little stabbers scabbard. It's really fun to paint some of these little details on these little guys, and I'm getting a lot more brush control. And I think I mentioned this previously. Again, sorry for my nose, and any noise you might hear is just me trying to breathe. But as I mentioned in the previous video, I found these cheap synthetic brushes, which I honestly think they are performing much better for me than some of the starter brushes or the or the small series from Citadel. I am not saying that Citadel is some incredibly, you know, great manufacturer of brushes, but you would expect that, you know, they be better. Besides, I think they're not synthetic, the ones that I got from Citadel. But still, uh, I really like the way they hold the paint and how they let it flow. So I'm really happy with these, and I'm honestly thinking of buying another set just to get the really small brushes, because I didn't find these in any other um, uh, separate, just in a whole set or something like that. All right. Again, let's talk a little bit about my hopes. I'm recording these late on October 30th, and I'm hoping that there will be no problems with rendering this video, and I can post it at the, at the very end of October, on the last day of October, to still, you know, like qualify for Orktober, because I really want to be fine. I am using a hobby knife to scrape a little bit of the glue and super glue that I used to attach the banner, because end of the paint, to make sure that when I do apply the glue again, it will stick. I have to admit a little something. This is not the first time that the banner broke. This is like the third time that the banner broke. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. Oh yes, and now I am on the trim of the helmet, and I'm using, like I said, a bit of Gorgrunta fur on all the furrish elements on his helmet. This is quite easy. Again, I really like contrast paints, but either I'm not really thinning them down as much as I should, because I really don't see how, or I'm not using them correctly. Because when I used it through the airbrush, it gave out a perfectly smooth coverage all over the place. Awesome, perfect. It was also thinned down with Lamia medium and no, water, special water that minerals were removed. Anyway, so again, it gave out completely uniform. I'm guessing that they're designed to be painted on so that they pull in certain areas. But I was hoping that, since I already dry brushed on top of that, but then again, it was a very light dry brush with off-white over gray, and it wasn't really visible. So I'm gonna do another experiment. I'm gonna try it on the no, I don't get to try it on the XVD, but I'm gonna try a different experiment where I'm going to do a complete dry brush of white over black completely, and just leave the black in creases, and try and see whether just using the airbrush with a contrast paint over that achieves the desired effect. Here I am using a bit of Buckmonk's Glow, I think, or maybe even some Wraithbone to go over extremely basically edge highlighting a few bits of skin, which then I will come over again with a very thin down layer of Warboss green to give a filter, but still um, highlight or show off how a bit more variation in skin tone. I'm not sure I achieved it, that it will look good in the end, but I've got, like nothing to lose to do it, so I tried it and saw what came out. Well, you let me know if you can see the difference because I know I'm not particularly happy with how it looks out. I'm happy with the hands. The hands came out pretty okay-ish, but on the nose it seems a little too much, or maybe I did it wrong or something. Tidying up again some of the elements on the helmet. I may have spilled over with some of the snakebite leather, and I was just doing a quick fix. Next, I think I move on to doing the few more highlights for the ears and face. Again, as you can see, I'm using a very big brush compared to what I usually would use for this, because again, these cheap synthetic brushes that I found at a supermarket basically, they they hold a very good tip. And as you can see, I'm going with another layer of Warboss green, breaking down over all the edge highlights that I did, just to smooth these all out and to give a sense of um, uniformity. That was the word I was looking. Uniformity. Again, I guess it this enough. I'm doing this commentary live over the video after it has been edited, and I will not have a script. I will try to be as spontaneous as I can and comment on what I've been doing. I've tried commenting while I paint, but that just is almost impossible to do. Not to mention the fact that there would be a problem with editing because I cannot speed up the footage at all, and my videos would be 3 hours long instead of, like 1 hour. But this is me speeding them up a little bit and commenting over so that uh, it's not as boring as one would think. With a little bit of corn red, I go over the tassels. I think I did. Yes, I did that step, and of course over the leather straps on the banner. Uh, don't ask me why I chose necessarily corn red. It was just the red that I had, and it would make a nice little accent color for the miniature, along with the um, flappy banner fabrics stuff. I don't know. And it was on the box art. I take a lot of inspiration from the box art, and I just slightly tune it to whatever colors I have or whatever colors I would prefer my miniatures have. I don't try to follow it exactly or anything like that. Cool. I don't know what else to say about this process. I'm just gonna let you enjoy the painting process for a while, and when I have something to say, I will add it up. And uh, yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, and now I start working on the mouth, and First up, I do a base coat of the entire mouth and teeth with Bugman's Glow, not necessarily because the teeth need that color, but rather because they are so small and find that I'm not gonna be able to not cover them. So yeah, that's what I do now. I'm constantly checking the miniatures to see if I need to make some fixes because I keep touching it and chipping the paint. I have not yet found a solution for that. Even though I'm using a handle, I sometimes rest the miniature on my fingers and something will touch and it will go and chip the paint. I don't know how I do it. It's either still too wet and I don't have time to wait in between um, uh, applying different layers and so on and so forth. I'm not gonna be able to, like stop painting a miniature to get on with another one. One because I don't have that many primed or in the same um, range or using the same colors because I'm not gonna be using the same colors with the XV88 as I gonna do with uh, this little guy. Most of them maybe sure, some of them, sorry, not most, some of them maybe, yeah, sure, but I kinda do plan on making, and I don't like splitting my focus. If I'm gonna paint an army, then yes, I can't wait to do that because again I keep getting back to the future, but I want to tell you guys my plan. So my plan is once this is done, I'm gonna finish the XV88. I'm going to put a full dedicate all of my hobby time to getting Gaunt's Ghosts done, and then I'm going to start painting the Leviathan box set because I need to get those Tyranids done. I really like them and I want to see them done. I have an airbrush now. I can do like an entire batch, and I plan to paint the entire army all at once, like a sitting somehow. It's a challenge. I'm gonna challenge myself. Right. I'm probably gonna fail miserably. I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but hey, I'm gonna try. All right. So that's the plan. Once the Tyranids are done, I'm gonna give give into my wildest desire and do an even bigger army. And I'm gonna assemble all of the Space Wolves and paint them all together. That's gonna be insane. I'm gonna paint, and I kid you not, 2,200 points of Space Wolves. No, I'm not gonna pay 2,200 because Ragnar is up there, and I'm gonna paint. Hold on, 2,000. There's still Ragnar who's done. No, I might that do a little few touch-ups, but I'm gonna first assemble the Wolfguard Terminators that I have, the Grey Hunters, um, the Wolf Cavalry, Thunderwolf Cavalry, Njal, the Stormcaller, Logan Grimnar, and Bjorn the Fell-Handed. And that plus all the miniatures from the Leviathan box set, the Space Marines, that's gonna be an insane amount of miniatures painted, like a session. But that's probably, I'm gonna want to do that like over Christmas. And speaking of Christmas, I gotta get one of those box sets. All right, enough. Bad ender. Stop talking about stuff. Right. So I did the helmet with the metallics. I used both Lead Belcher and Runelord Brass. I used Lead Belcher for the spiky bits and Runelord Brass on the helmet itself, on the round part. Um, because I wanted to differentiate in between them, but just as a heads up to see how sort of colorblind I am, because I'm not colorblind, but I'm trying to say I don't see shades. I almost don't see any difference in between Runelord Brass and the Lead Belcher. Just saying, one is silver, one is copper. That's like, how can one not see clearly the different shades in between? Well, I'm having trouble distinguishing them. But again, even between greens, when I come in with a really bright color over these greens, yeah, sure, no problem. But in time they fade, I'm starting to get a sense for the colors, in the sense that I'm not afraid to highlight them with really, really, really bright colors, which I'm gonna try and do from now on and see where that goes. I kept mentioning that I don't see any highlights. Maybe that's because I'm not going bright enough, so I'm gonna try and do that for future stuff. Again, I'm adding a bit of red tone, I think, right now on teeth. I'm trying to do his teeth, and they were really easy to paint. As were the teeth on the golf rocker. I was afraid of I wasn't gonna be able to handle such tiny details. But yeah, it's been getting easier and easier with this with the experience that I'm gaining from uh, painting more and more miniatures. I realized that now that I'm really looking at it, this 1 hour long video, I'm starting to see why some people might find it relatively boring and why most of these bigger channels just, tend to show a little bit of the process and then move on with just like a few seconds. But then again, I I don't really mind spending all this time and showing you all the tedious that has been going on, but maybe I should like shorten my videos and just show you the final product once it's done with just a few highlighted moments of my entire process. What do you guys think? Would you be more interested in much shorter videos, or do you prefer if I kept it and show you all the steps that I take when I paint my miniatures? Hey, leave a comment below. I'm honestly curious. Uh, from the few analytics that YouTube allows me with my subscriber count, I'm seeing that only like 10% of people reach the end of my videos. Well, if you are a guy who, or a gal who does watch this channel and is interested, let me know. Do you want shorter videos? At the same time, I really don't like this trend of our society to focus on everything that is fast, and we don't have time for enjoying ourselves. I try to make it and show you the entire process that it goes into making one of these, and not lie, because some of the bigger channels that I watch constantly for improvement tips and how to get better at this, um, while they they make everything look really, really easy. And in my opinion, well, that's not a bad thing, because it's not really a hard hobby. It just takes quite some time, and you can learn brush control and what paints to use and so on, how things work. Relatively, no, relatively incredibly easy, and pick it up if you're into that sort of stuff. It does take up a lot of time, and this is something that I did not that I saw that a lot of people don't really put emphasis on how long these things take. And especially when you see like a masterclass and they show you how to do it, but then they gloss over how long it takes to do the entire miniature, and with certain steps taking upwards to uh, 10 minutes, that's gonna be a while because you have to do like 20 of those steps, and that just keeps adding on. So while this video is 1 hour long, for me to actually finish and paint this entire incredibly small miniature, the process actually took about 3 whole hours, including, of course, getting up from the desk and moving around and switching stuff. Actually, when I think about it, I usually pause when I do that, the videos, and if I just take the amount of time that I spent painting this miniature, it's gonna go upwards to like 4, maybe 4.5 hours. So there's that. Keep that in mind. This is not like easy hobby on your free time. Combine that with, like leisure activities such as me playing something on my phone or PC or doing anything else, family life and work and stuff. If we add chores to that, because when you live in a house, you have to clean and do the dishes and put on laundry. There's only so much time that we have in our busy schedule, and I honestly don't know how other YouTubers do this if this is not their job, and how they can get through so many pictures. But hey, I'm gonna try be like the first guy who actually gets to paint an army in like a 24-hour challenge or something like that. And I think I have just the time to do it, because you see, I have a few days coming up for as 3 days from work for me at the end of the month. So I plan to by then to have all of the Gonskos finished working, like after hours or on the weekends, and the end of the month to do the Tyranids. If I get those done and I get those done in like 2 to 3 days, I'm gonna be like the happiest guy alive. I'm not gonna do a 24-hour challenge of not sleeping. No, I'm not 20-ish something. I'm getting old. I'm really close to 40 right now. I'm not even gonna open up the back pain subject. So if 30 was bad, 40 is feeling mighty close and terrible. Right. But then again, I also have the other project, the big house that I'm making, and when you take that into account, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do that. Hmm. Decisions. So many decisions. Alright, so leave a comment below. This channel right now is like split in two, housework and miniature painting. What content would you like to see more? More housework or more miniature painting? Leave a comment below. Hey, it'll help me out decide what you guys want and what I should be focusing on. Just as a heads up, this weekend I was able to do a little work on the house, on the barbecue, and I'm going to edit that video tonight, and hopefully it will be ready by Friday during the normal schedule. Hopefully. Don't take my word for it. Alright, so getting back to the topic of the miniature. I've painted a lot of the red elements using the same colors, both for the fabric and for the metallics. That would be corn red, and of course a bit of black, and I used Gorgon for the wood effects. For the pole, I didn't want to go with a metal pole. I wanted to go like a wooden pole. Don't ask me why. It doesn't really make sense, but that's the way I want it. And of course, the same off-white, which is red bone for some of the panels. Though I don't think I have gotten that stage yet. But yeah, so Abaddon black. There we go. Like I was saying, red bone for the white elements like the skull and the bone on the bottom. Painting in between these, I always spill over, but don't worry, that's why we do like the white last, because it's really easy to cover if you spill over on something, whereas doing it the other way around, if you're going to smudge the white part with like red, that's gonna be rather hard to remove. And while this is like an orc banner and you're not expecting tidiness, it still looks like sloppy work. And again, it's their banner. They and Makari takes real good care of it, so it should be it should look really really good. All right, tidying up a few of the thingies. For the other metallics, I used both Lead Belcher and Rune Lord Brass in order for me to make all the rivets and the bolts and everything else stand out. So yeah, there's that. I really plan on making this pop, and it's fun to do. It's taking your time, doing as much details as you can easily, and see, try and push the limits of what can be done. Again, more of the cleaning, tiny little bits of glue that are stuck or things that I've missed. And I would also like to apologize for any of the noises you may hear while I'm talking and recording this, because I haven't yet set up a recording studio whatsoever, so I'm still doing this in my living room whenever I have a chance to have some peace and quiet around the house. And I'm still using like a headphone microphone, because I do have this microphone that should remove some of these, but it also kind of is very powerful and picks up all background noise, and I have absolutely no soundproofing whatsoever. I'm working really hard to get the house at least closed with windows. Then I will hopefully get the tower section done, and that will allow me to have much better phonic isolation for my voiceovers. And I plan to move like at least a laptop over there to be able to record these and do them much more clean. At least that was the plan. Again, I'm making a lot of plans, and hopefully in a few years I will see them come to fruition, maybe sooner, but it's gonna be a while. Right, painting the miniature. Um, I had to do a few coats with the white just to get it to cover and be as smooth as I wanted it to be, and in order for me to fix my mistakes where the white spilled in some of the recesses, and uh, the blackness was lost, so I had to come back black, fill in the crevices, and then tidy up again with white. It's a constant process of making a mistake and fixing it. That's at least my workflow for most miniatures. Make mistakes, fix them, make mistakes, fix them. And some of in the last panel, the hanging small thingy was done with flesh kits yellow. Again, yellow over gray seems to work pretty okay. I had a very light gray, and it covered, just about 2 coats, especially since it's a layer paint. But yeah, I liked it. I usually use Flesh Gets Yellow just as uh, mixer for other colors to light them up, like green or red, if I want to give a highlight color. But as standalone color for itself, it's pretty okay. I wouldn't use it as a base color, unless maybe through the airbrush. I haven't gone to test that one, but it's too small of an object for me to do right now with the airbrush, so I just decided to do it as best I could with the pen with the brush. Sorry for shaking the cam. I'm still getting this sorted out. It is on a telescopic arm attached to my desk, but I must sometimes might bump into it. Sometimes my head, because it's very close to my head while I'm painting in this position. And that's why I get some camera shakes from time to time. I know that this, from my line of work, I know that this is not exactly ideal for some people. But other than apologize, there's not much I can do because, again, I like to keep all the footage, as much of the footage as I can. But if it is truly bothering for some people, I will try to edit them out when I edit the videos. Oh, what else? What else? What else? Oh, we're back on him and taking a short break. That was probably just me looking at the models and figuring out what to do, and then decide to take a short break. Yeah, you can clearly see something's different on the base. That is because I used Astro Granite on it to give it a different texture over the base. I do plan on getting some more technical paints, and since tomorrow is salary day for me, I'm gonna go buy some more miniatures. I know I've been spending like this entire video saying that oh, I really need to work on my back catalog, but again, it's a really important day for me. I'm also getting a bonus, and I want to go and grab some of the kit with the 3 Termagants and the Ripper Swarm. One, to fill out my Ripper Swarm from Leviathan, and 2, because they also have a few more colors that I really don't have. With the 3 extra Termagants, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably just going to put them in like the squads and just have squads of 11. I really don't see, especially for friendly games, why you should limit yourself to like only uh, the legal tournament legal squads that you have. I'm gonna have 3 extra Termagants. I'm gonna have 2 squads. I'm just gonna fill those Termagants with like those guys. Or then again, I have an even better idea. I'm actually going to use those 3 Termagants to establish the exact scheme that I want for my army. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint them, see how I'm gonna go with like my skill level, and decide on that what my uh, swarm will be like. That's actually a much better idea. Great. So, what I'm doing now is using, of course, Retributor Gold to do the detailing on the Astra Militarum helmet. Previously, I did his teeth with a Wraithbone, and that's almost the entire miniature done. I'm still going to be working on a few more details here and there, but I'm almost complete. You can stop right here with this. I did do, and I am going to do a bit of freehand on those tiny banners that are hanging from the banner, those tiny pieces. It's not as good as the box art, but I'm happy with it, and it came out looking as decent as I wanted it to do. So I'm happy with it. What more could I ask for? Uh, right, again, right now, I'm not necessarily aiming for tabletop quality because, from what I understand, tabletop quality just means, like having a base coat, doing some details, and like 2 or 3 colors. That's it. I think I'm going way above this with most of my miniatures, trying to do incredible detail work and making eyes and so on and so forth. I saw that a lot of bigger channels don't even bother doing the eyes. They just leave them with like the skin color. I'm really not okay with that. For the lenses, I went again with Baharat Blue and Temple Guard Blue with the shade of Drakenhof Nightshade in between. So yeah, the same thing I used for all my lenses with the Tau. It's pretty straightforward, and I'm more than happy with how I can make it look good, just those 3 lovely little colors. And that's it. Any, like braces or anything else that were on the model, bracelets that were on the model, I used either lead belcher or Rune Lord brass, wherever I felt is appropriate, including all the links on the banner that keep different panels attached. I use the same color. I think I'm going here. I'm using a bit of Militarum Green again, a contrast paint, to fix any of my mistakes over on his helmet, as well as a bit of Rune Lord brass on his helmet to highlight it, because or I'm using. I honestly am a little lost. I think I've gotten to the shading part, and I may be using Agrex Shade to shade the um, helmet. But then again, it's been a while since I painted this guy. It's been like 2 weeks due to the fact that I was really, really sick, and I'm just remembering everything. Yeah, like I was saying, Drakenhof Nightshade for the lenses to give the shading effect, and then come with a dot of Temple Guard Blue. On top of that dot, coming in with the smaller dot of white, but uh, I'm never gonna do that. I mean, how tiny do you have to make it, and what sort of paintbrush would you have to use to get that? Because even my tiniest hairs, you can see it on my desk. You can't even see the hairs of that brush on the camera. Uh, I'm still not gonna be able to do it. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna do triple layers of highlighting and so on and so forth. If it looks good, it's fine. Um, I do plan on making some tables because I played only one game of Warhammer with a best friend of mine, with, of course, unpainted miniatures using books and remote controls as obstacles and as buildings. But I do plan on making a legitimate gaming board for playing Warhammer. Where I'm going to keep that in my apartment, I have no clue. But I'm gonna goddamn well try to make one at least. If I don't try, then what's the point of, painting armies and so on and so forth? I want to be able to play with them. Hopefully in next year in 2024, I will also have an army that I can try and go to a competition with. Who knows? Probably locally in my country, but I am yet to discover any of the channels where such competitions are announced. I'll see what I can do about it. The best part of my paint job so far on this guy are these transitions. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right now, but I will make the fabric go from red to black, and in my opinion, I achieved a smooth enough transition. Oh yeah, so this is the part where I think where um, I reached like the evening while painting this, and I had to reduce the light. I'm hoping that it's still pretty visible because I had to change the camera settings, and I'm doing a bit of detail work further on the helmet and doing the tiny rocks that are there as well. I'm hoping I nailed them. Again, it's very hard for me to distinguish fully between the black and the gray Mechanicus on small details. I'm also doing a very light dry brush with Mechanica standard gray over the Astro Granite to like pick up just the raised edges of the rocks and give it a feeling of something else. I like how the base came out, but I will probably just do like I do with all of my bases later on and just add sand to it, especially once Gascool is um, is built because Gascool has like a base of rubble with debris on it, and which he's standing upon, and I think that will look really great on a sand base. Um, and I kind of want them to be in the same feelings, and I'll see whether I decide to do it with like Aster Granite or something else. By the time I do Gascool, it will probably be I will probably have a lot more paints or and technical paints and see what I decide upon when I get to that point. Oh, cool. Oh, what else can I tell you about this guy? I'm still doing, I'm still trying to do those edge highlights. I'm still not happy with his nose. And we get to the freehand. I tried to make a gun, a very tiny little gun. This took like at least 15 minutes trying to get that to the shape that I wanted it, and just going back with black and white and fixing and undoing, and in the final result, I'm happy with it. It could have been a little better, but it's good enough. It's good enough. As well as I do like. I don't know if I will be able to show it because I don't really remember from the editing process, and I'm too eager to check ahead, um, or don't really want to mess up my flow. But I did freehand the gun, fist on the red banner, and some backgammon board. From what I can tell, I don't know what those are supposed to be on the yellow banner. But it looks good enough for me. I didn't do enough as in the box art because I'm not that skilled, but it looks good. Again, putting some fine details with Rune Lord Brass and Led Belcher on the banner, touching up the rivets, his bracelet, and so on and so forth. There, you can clearly see my freehand over there. Um, the well, you saw it for a few seconds, but don't worry, the final shots will come soon, and you will be able to see them in all their wonderful glory, my little free hands. Uh, we still got about 10-ish minutes to go, so I'm gonna keep going strong even though my head is starting to hurt again from grandfather's gifts. Gork and Mork will probably help me out because I'm doing their work. But yeah, it's difficult doing hobbies and working while you're sick, so please bear with me while I put the finishing touches. I tried to do a bit of edge highlighting on absolutely every part of the banner, but again, I I'm trying to be a little cheeky git over here, as the orcs say, and instead of using the white, like brighter color, or with the base color mixed in with white or Fletchkiss, I instead went all the way out and did it with Lead Belcher or even Runefang Steel, in order for me to give the impression that it has been chipped all the way to the bone and the paint is completely gone, but the metal it hasn't yet rusted. I don't have any rust effects, and I don't plan to do it with any of the paints that I have, and that is why I decided to just paint it with uh, the metal color, because it has just been chipped and it hasn't had time for rust to take hold. I did try to make in one single area over underneath a rune brass rivet. I added a tiny dot of um, temple guard blue, but that didn't really work out, and it just sort of looked weird. So how do I distinguish the red fabric using corn red from the rest of the corn red metallic parts? That was easy. I first gave it a complete wash of Nuln oil, and over that I kept going with extra layers and layers and layers of Nuln oil. After, of course, I fixed this because I have joined the Spillers Club. Yay! It's a rite of passage for us miniatures. And guess what? Now I'm gonna show you the entire process of me cleaning this whole thing up, because again, I'm also incredibly cheap, so I decided to use my pipette and gather up as much of it and put it right back, because I'm gonna use it again. And this process took quite some time, but it was rather fun. Um, Good thing I cut out the audio, because you would have heard me like going like fuck, but really, really at very light volume, because my wife was sleeping like behind. So imagine this happening to you and not being able to swear. So when I finally decided that I've gathered enough, I wiped everything off and got back to work. I was on a schedule, I was sick, and yeah, alright, drip some more. Anything that drips, put it in there. Try and get it out. Uh, Hopefully I was able to still salvage like half the bottle. The bottle was almost full too, and I was able to save like half of it, so there's that. All clean, and yeah. Alright, back to painting Makari. I can't wait to move all of my paint into dropper bottles. I really am working on that. Um, I have this great friend who is really into helping me with stuff, and always asks me what do I want. My latest request for him was dropper bottles. So yay! I can't wait for them to arrive. to um, move all of my paints and shades and everything into dropper bottles, so that I can avoid such accidents in the future. And as you can see, I'm taking the utmost care right now to have not make another spill again. And like I said, I keep going with multiple layers of Null oil over and over and over, concentrating more and more on the lower parts. Now, the thing is, I'm starting to understand how the bigger channels do it, and I can't really yet apply it the way they do it, because they have the time to do just a few brush strokes like I did, and just wait for the paint to dry, and then come with another set of with just a few more brush strokes and just let the model dry. Or as Midwinter Minis does, use a hairdryer. I can't use a hairdryer. My wife is sleeping right behind me. How am I going to be able to use a hairdryer, which makes a lot of noise, to dry some paint on a miniature with somebody sleeping behind? No, that's not a viable option. So until I get a fully ready painting studio, this is going to be the best that I can do. Like, do what I can with what I can. And that's it. I don't know what is it with today and all the messages I keep getting. This time my phone decided to give me a message without, give me a notification without an actual notification coming. So, hey, that's great. Right. Well, I'm almost done. I'm just going to do a few finishing touches. Not much to tell. I will also paint the base black, and I'm just going to call it quits today because I'm really running out of ideas of what to tell you. Oh, more shading just done with, again, Acrex search shade for anything that I want different than black. And after that, stick around for the final shots. As you can see, I'm constantly checking the box art. There you go. You can see the box right there, and I wanted to get some clear understanding of what I need to do and trying to shade some of the recesses of his skin. Anyway, so what I was saying, I was trying to do the outro. Alright, again, if you enjoyed me painting Makari for an hour straight, I know it's been a long video. Thank you all for sticking around until the end. But hey, if you really enjoyed the content, please subscribe, share it with a friend. I really try to show you guys everything I can. That was what I was trying to say. If you want to see a miniature truly painted from start to finish with almost all of the brush strokes and free on YouTube, then yeah, come here and let me know what you want to see me paint. But bear in mind that I probably won't be able to get it unless unless a miracle happens, especially for older miniatures and stuff like that. But if you enjoy watching me paint an entire miniature from start to finish, then hey, stick around, subscribe, like, and share it with a friend if you know somebody who might enjoy this content. Again, thank you all for sticking around till this point, and I will see you in the next one. In just a few minutes, the final shots will start, and I will let you enjoy those. Alright, thank you again, and bye bye.